Hello fantasy managers, and welcome back to another video from myself, Will, and fantasyfootballhub.co.uk. In this video, we're going to be having a look at how my team did in Game Week 2 before moving on to my team and my transfers ahead of Game Week 3. Let's get into it. So if you're new around here, this is effectively a diary of my team. I go through the season, track the highs, track the lows. I'm aiming for my 7th top 10k 1,000 finish, so hopefully I can achieve that. At the moment, it's looking a little bit of a long way off. As you can see, the game week didn't go particularly well. 47 points all out with a -4, so actually 43 points. Overall rank dropped to 2.4 million, so yeah, not quite where I want to be at this stage of the season, but it is still very early on. And what a game week, some absolutely massive scores coming in. I was fortunate to at least catch one of them, Calvert-Lewin, who was my transfer in this game week, so he was actually the -4, so at least my transfer in paid off this game week and my hit paid off. But my other transfer in, Bruno Fernandes, didn't really do the business, and Manchester United looked completely off the pace, which I think was a little bit of a surprise, certainly to me and certainly to a few other people as well who brought their players in. I do think that, we have got to give them a little bit more time. Elsewhere in my team, I'm not going to go through all of the players, but defence was very, very disappointing. The double up with Southampton, it's an area which I clearly need to address. I'm not going to be able to do it this game week, because I'll come to later. It has crossed my mind to actually play my wildcard this game week. There's a lot of players in there which aren't really doing the business, and I feel like, I've slightly been saved, even though my rank is 2.4 million, so I haven't been saved that much. But I have slightly been saved by a couple of hat-tricks in Salah and Calvert-Lewin, to a certain extent. So I'm aware that the rest of my team isn't performing, and I probably do need to act. Having said that, I have made the one transfer this game. We've come to who I've brought in already. But I actually think the team is fairly well set up for this game week, and I just think having a few more data points, just 2 data points that we're working off for those wildcarding now, and I can totally understand people wildcarding now, but for me, I just want to hold off a little bit longer so I can just get a bit more information, really, a bit more data to be able to make those wildcard decisions. But I have to say, it's looking like I will go for the early wildcard, which I was hoping not to do. But it's looking like that's probably going to be the best route forward, because there's just so many players which we didn't necessarily consider pre-season that should really come to the fore. So I think that now we've got a couple of weeks of data. It's interesting to have a little bit of a look at who are the players that are posting the good numbers. And this is sort of an overall sorted by shots, and as you can see, Salah coming out on top, Richarlison second. Richarlison is a really interesting option. He's one of those players that does take a lot of shots. As you can see, though, if you sort by shots on target, then he's nowhere near the top. He's only got 2 shots on target. Likes of Mitrovic, again, he's a player that does tend to shoot a lot, and he will always be top of the shots on target, top of the shots metric. This is bearing in mind he's only started 1 game, so it's interesting to see him already back on top there, and he's certainly a player which I would consider. He was in a lot of my drafts pre-season, and obviously he didn't start the first game, but he's going to be sort of Fulham's talisman on those penalties as well. So I think that he's a really good shout. He will always post good shot numbers. Those don't always convert, just because he gets a lot of headed attempts, which don't always lead to goals. There's lots of ones that I like to look at here in terms of expected goals, expected assists. You can look at the overall one, which is expected FPL points, which effectively combines expected data into what they're expected to have scored for FPL points. So this is another really good sort of overall summary of the underlying numbers. And as you can see, Salah coming out on top there, Son coming second. So his 4 goals were pretty damn extraordinary, but that's suggesting that they weren't a complete fluke. Zaha, interestingly, coming in third. And if you sort by per appearance, because this sort of takes into account the Manchester City and Manchester United players, as you can see, De Bruyne absolutely flying there. 12.3 points expected, 13 points he scored, absolutely staggering numbers. So not only is De Bruyne posting incredible numbers, if you watch the match on Monday night, he looked incredible. He's playing really far forward, seems to be sort of filling in for that Silva role. So I just think that he's sort of ticking all the boxes. Of course, he's on penalties for Manchester City, which is just absolutely massive. I do think that, on balance, he's going to be a better option than Sterling. He was a better option than Sterling last year. For me, I think he's at the moment he is the most important player to own in the entire game. I brought him in, gone for Aubameyang to De Bruyne move, and he's going to be my captain for the upcoming game week as well. Of course, the other thing that's worth mentioning, is that he's very, very good on the bonus front as well. So he's just got so many different things going for him. Aubameyang, he looked like he was playing a little bit wide. Obviously, he's still going to be a really good option. Obviously, he could score well, but of course, Arsenal's fixtures do turn, and that move looked like an absolute no-brainer. It was one that I was planning pre-season, and I saw no reason, if not even more reason, to make that move now. Probably worth touching on the other City assets. Foden can get 60 to 70 minutes per game on average, then he's going to be very, very good value for money. And I think that, at 6.5, he's looking like a really, really good value option. Obviously, there are some other players in that price bracket or around that price bracket now, looking at the likes of Rodriguez. He's looking phenomenal. I would say, with Everton, though, maybe we can have a quick switch over here now. Just to look at Everton players, and again, sorted by expected points per start. As you can see, Calvert-Lewin coming in top, Richarlison coming in second there. Keane, obviously a defender, interestingly coming in third above Rodriguez. And I think, first of all, big fan of Rodriguez. He is an incredible player. He's going to be, absolutely crucial to that Everton team in terms of winning games and providing crucial passes, crucial through balls. I don't quite know whether he's going to be as good a fantasy asset as Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. Rodriguez, he's going to be playing a crucial role in that Everton side. And as you saw with that incredible through ball that he did to Richarlison, I think in a lot of cases, he's going to be assisting the assist. Richarlison ended up squaring that ball to Calvert-Lewin. That whole goal was created because of James Rodriguez, but Richarlison got the assist and Calvert-Lewin got the goal, and they got the fantasy points ultimately. Obviously, Rodriguez got the goal. He did very well in that game as well. But I think that, at 7.5, he's a fantastic option. Don't get me wrong. I also just think that, Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison are very, very good options as well. And, if you don't want to go for three Everton players, then potentially those guys are better options for me at the moment. That's what the data is suggesting. Try to get a little bit distracted there. If we just jump back to City just for a moment, obviously we mentioned De Bruyne, we mentioned Foden. I do think it is worth just mentioning Jesus, though, because with Aguero out, he's looking like he's going to be the main man up top for City, and hopefully going to be getting a lot of minutes. And if someone's playing up top for City and getting a lot of minutes, they're going to score goals. It's pretty much as simple as that. So at 9.5, I think that he offers incredible value. And I think if I was to do a wildcard team this game week, I would find it very difficult for De Bruyne, Jesus, and potentially even Foden to be in my wildcard team. I think there's a lot of good options for City, and they are looking really good. To be honest, I expect them to win the league this season as well. Okay, so just jumping over to the Fantasy Football Hub fixture ticker. As you can see, Wolves coming out on top for the next 5 game weeks. So Wolves got a really, really nice run of fixtures, and they've got some really good players to own in their side. Like Sace out the back, but also Podence, I think, looked very, very impressive. He sort of reminds me of a bit of Eden Hazard about him, which, obviously those are huge fantasy football boots to fill. But I do think that he's going to be a real option at 5.5. Very, very good value. I have actually considered, as we'll come to my team in a little bit, going Souček to Podence for a hit. I think on balance, it's probably, not worth it. But as you can see, West Ham coming bottom of this fixture ticket here. So if I wasn't going to play a wild card over the next couple of game weeks, I probably would actually make that move, because I think over the next 4 or 5 game weeks, that hit would probably pay off. Obviously, the other player that I'm really keen on is Raul Jimenez. And I know that it's only been 2 game weeks of data, but if you look at his comparison to Timo Werner, for example, then I think it is, an interesting comparison. He's just sort of blowing Timo Werner out the water. He's coming in 1 million cheaper. Wolves got a really, really nice run of fixtures. What I would say about Werner, though, is that they play West Brom next. Now, West Brom and Fulham are currently looking like teams that are going to, the 2 teams that you do really want to target. So that's another reason, actually, which I'm not playing my wildcard this game, because I want to give Timo Werner this match against West Brom Probably will give them this match against West Brom. I might wildcard next game week, or I might wildcard in the international break, where I've just got a little bit more time, a little bit more thought, potentially catch a few more price rises in that international break as well, which is, of course, after game week 4. So, yeah, those, I think it is just worth flagging this. I would stress that I wouldn't be looking to remove Timo Werner this game week, but the numbers that he's posting here aren't really good enough. Now, of course, I know that he played Liverpool this game week, and that's obviously affecting those numbers. But at the same time, Jimenez played Manchester City. So for me, the two forwards which I do really want to own, which I don't own, are probably Jimenez and Jesus. And I just chuck him into this comparison as well here. And as you can see, he's performing very, very well. He's creating a lot of assist potential as well, which, obviously multiple point scoring routes I think is really interesting. Obviously, only been one game, and that's very, very important to stress. And you don't want to extrapolate too much, but, as I mentioned before, playing in that City side, I think is, playing as forward in that City side is just going to be an avenue to scoring lots and lots of points. Okay, so this is how my team is lining up for Game Week 3. Gone for De Bruyne as captain. Obviously not the most controversial move, but it is actually against what our prediction algorithm is saying. Prediction algorithm is saying that Salah is the player to captain this game week. I just feel, De Bruyne playing so well on Monday night, and Leicester, not their defence, not necessarily. I know they haven't conceded too many goals, but they're missing some crucial players from that defence. And De Bruyne playing that much further forward, I just feel like he's got the most potential to score the most points. Salah, a great option, potentially even Fernandes. I think that Manchester United players. So if you bought them in for game week 2, don't go getting rid of them. I think that they sort of played in Crystal Palace hands. Crystal Palace like to play on the counter attack. Brighton, a little bit different. I think Brighton offer a little bit more space in behind. I think, Brighton are a great side. They're going to do well this season. But I think that Manchester United will probably prefer playing slightly more against Brighton than they did against Crystal Palace. And I certainly can see a few goals in that game. And I'm certainly very happy to own Fernandes. So overall, I'm actually, despite having a bad game week last game, I'm pretty happy with this side. Obviously, I'm not happy with go into another game week with a Southampton double up. That's not really where I want to be, and maybe I might even start Mitchell, although I expect Crystal Palace will probably concede as well. Don't have any Spurs attack for their pretty tasty fixture against Newcastle. I'm not overly concerned about that. I know that they obviously scored really, really heavily last game week, but what I would say is that Newcastle, they're not going to play anything like Southampton. They're going to sit deep. They're going to look to frustrate Spurs. And look, I hope as a Spurs fan, I can probably see Spurs winning, but they're not going to rack up a cricket score like they did against Southampton. So I'm quite happy to go in with Doherty, and I'm not overly concerned with going without the likes of Son and Kane. Obviously, I'd like to have them, and I think they're great picks this game week, but I'm not necessarily looking to take a hit to go Bruno Fernandes to Son, for example. I think that would probably be a little bit of an overreaction. And that's it from me. If you did enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to access any of the member resources that I demonstrated in this video, just go to fantasyfootballhub.co.uk/free trial, leaving a link in the description and in the information card above. Thank you very much for watching, and good luck for the upcoming game week. Bye for now.